subscribers, I can start live streaming these. I actually did that on my other channel, but it was kind of hard to balance two separate things on one channel, so we'll just start over again. I had no idea that there was a little neighborhood over here. That's crazy. Pretty nice neighborhood. Pretty blessed people over here. I hope they recognize it. It's just gorgeous over here. The trees, the sunlight. Looks like we might have some construction going on here. I guess not. Huh. Another McMansion, probably. We've had an influx of extremely wealthy people moving to the Ozarks lately, and there's a whole lot of $5 and $10 million homes being built out in the Ozarks lately. It's kind of, growing up here, I never thought it would be like this here, but there's a lot of people moving in from out of state, which, is good for our local economy. Looks like we had a tree down over there. We just had some storms roll through the day before yesterday, but I think everything's pretty much alright. It's like way up there on the left, they're building something. Probably another subdivision. I don't know who lives there, but that place is nice. So this is what it looks like in the Ozarks. I have heard other people say it's God's last hangout. God's last hideout. So there's definitely no shortage of churches here. I particularly don't subscribe to a particular church or a particular form of Christianity or anything. It's a constant journey. I was going to take a left, but it occurred to me I've never been forward over here either, so let's go here. There's another nice house over there. Excuse me. Goes there. I think we're safe. Okay, a little bit. There's a tree down from the storm the other day. That one says dead end, so I'm gonna take their word for that. This looks pretty cool, so let's go let's do it. Let's go down Riverwalk Lane. No outlet. I don't know how much is going to be in here, if anything at all, but we'll see. Might just be a pickup for some driveways. I firmly believe that if you don't go out and look at nature once in a while and appreciate nature, you're doomed to want to destroy it. Okay, this is a private road and we're not a private car, so let's see if we can get turned around over here without falling off the road. There's a train right there, train tracks at least. Alright, there we go, we're turned around now. I was smiled upon recently. My air conditioner just started working in my car again, just mysteriously. We all know who we can thank for that one. Because I sure as heck couldn't get it fixed. Well, that was kind of weak. Let's keep going over here. I didn't see the private drive sign. Sorry about that, folks. But this land is your land. This land is my land. Deserves to be noted that Jimmy Swaggart, televangelist, passed this morning. And while I do fundamentally disagree with his stance on, well, everything, there's also a human life and deserves at least the acknowledgement and respect. So I hope everything works out for everybody. I hope you're not judged harshly or too harshly. I would hope that your heart was in the right place. As of yet, I can't go live. I hope I can. So if you guys would click like and subscribe and even leave a comment, let me know what you want to see from this channel. It's pretty much going to be this, just driving around, talking about faith and the world and the way it is and everything, and maybe how we can lean on faith to help us get through some of it right now. Subscribe button, share the channel with some friends. And if you're just here for the scenery, you can hit mute and you won't have to hear me talk. this was a major highway to get between towns, and now it's hardly ever used. Actually, I do believe this was part of old Highway 60, not Route 66, but Highway 60. But Route 66 does go through this town as well. If you guys would like, I'll do some Route 66 driving. Because we've got tons of that. much still remembered to make a little speck like me. It's kind of humbling. Put you in your place too. It is amazing to me though to see all the extremely large houses in this area. I just never knew that there was communities over here, lived over here most of my life. I just, if you never get off the beaten path, you kind of just stuck where you're stuck. Day today too. It's 83 degrees. It's the 1st of July. We do get days where it gets close to 100 degrees in the summer. But it gets broken up pretty good with these cooler days. That might be why my air conditioner's working. Disparage on the wealthy a lot, but I think of the wealthy about the same that Jesus thought of the wealthy. I just don't think it's a good thing to hoard massive quantities of wealth. More than you could possibly spend in your lifetime. There's some people right now that have so much money they can't even spend the interest fast enough. I wonder what their meeting at the gate's going to be like. They could have ended world hunger. They could have put programs in place or destroyed programs, that were being harmful to people. They could have done something. Instead, they bought yachts that have little baby yachts in them. That's what makes me sick with this world. That and just people judging others on how they're choosing to find their happiness in this crazy thing we call life. I know we've all got some beliefs on what you should and shouldn't do, but regardless of whether I feel one way or another, I do believe it's my responsibility to at least treat them with dignity and respect if I don't agree with the person because of their lifestyle or because of their life choices. Even the wealthy, I treat them with dignity. Of course, this is America, you have to. They'll bury you. I still try to regardless, even though I really disagree with their lifestyle. I guess as we say, I'll pray for them. There's more of them right here. tax break to billionaires. Excuse me. And kick an estimated 15 million people off of health care and nutrition assistance. Think about that for a minute. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there too that just, I don't know, just not a fan of it. And I haven't read the whole thing. It's 840 pages. Who has time to read that? Most of our Congress people haven't even read it. They're just going to go along with it because King Herod, our president, said to. I guess be more along the lines with the Pharaoh. You guys have any comments about, the state of things? Put them in there and let me know. I know there's some people that are going to come after me and berate me because I appear like one of their liberal folk. Well, I kind of am. I think if you read your Bible by yourself without influence from capitalists, you'd find out that there was another liberal that we're all supposed to love and respect, because Jesus Christ is depicted in the Bible. It's pretty liberal. I think today's modern Christian white nationalist movement would have deported them, or worse, crucified them again. It's just I don't think they welcome him with open arms. Which is the sad thing about it, And I really do ask all good Christians to take your religion back. They're making a mockery out of it. I can't even get my kids to believe in anything right now because of what they see. They see the huge smiles on the faces of people doing extremely awful things because they're doing it in the name of religion. It's scary. It's scary when you can't even convince your kids, to keep an open mind. I was raised that there's a higher power and you're supposed to be good. And that's pretty much it. I can't even get my kids to buy in on there being a higher power, because right now they're looking at everything and going, where is he? And they do bring up a valid point. The Bible was full of stories where God interfered on behalf of humanity a long time ago, but there's no interfering now. Kind of hard to tell them, hey. It's hard to tell them that there is a God when the people who thump on the Bible the hardest are the just meanest ones out there. And like I said, it's just kind of, it's hard, because my kids, they just don't have a mean bone in their body. They're just, good, nice kids, which I'm very lucky, and I'm very proud of them. They stand up for those that are being bullied, because that's what they're shelter. They had a mega church right there, and they wouldn't open the doors because they had new carpeting. It's like, really? New carpeting. That was your, and I do believe the Bible says, you should help other people. It doesn't say, there's not like a little footnote asterisk that says, unless you got new carpet to be on the floor. So what are we doing as a people? And what are we doing to fight back against these who take religion and twist it for their own financial gain and personal gain? We all know people like that. And I honestly think that if we're not actively speaking up against that, then by default, we're telling God we're okay with that. Maybe that's why God's not helping us out right now. When the day it finally happens, I'll still have to go to work. But you definitely gotta admit that it'd be a lot easier to ask God for help if we were willing to help ourselves. And part of that is standing up to people who are trying to use Christianity and religion, or any religion. It doesn't have to be just Christianity. Just, people who are using those things, for personal gain. And we can clearly see it all over the place. You don't have to look that hard to see it. I think you have to look harder to not see it. So it's just kind of, it hurts the heart. It really does. Because I genuinely want to believe that most people are good. And I still do actually genuinely believe that most people are good. There are a few that just have bad intentions and evil in their heart. And those people there we can't reach, right? They've already checked out and said, you know what, I'm going to go this path. You're not going to convince that person to go to follow you. But there are people that are on the fence, especially in today's age. There's people on the fence that you can legit help out. Answer the questions, pull them aside, let them know that there's still good people out there that want to do good things and do right by people. Not everybody's concerned about their image or their ego or their finances or power or influence. Some people just want to have a better world. And I know it, excuse me, every time we turn on the TV, look at the news, it doesn't look that way, but there's still a lot of good people out there. You just have to look a little harder to find them. And you also have to be that person. You have to be the good person that you want to see. And I haven't always been successful at this. Matter of fact, I'm probably got the most opportunity for improvement there as anyone watching this right now. I've not been the nicest person sometimes. Actually, when I was trying to build my empire, I was probably one of the worst people. Stepping on people's backs, stepping on people's toes, throwing people under the bus, just to very spiritual. And I asked him one day what their religion actually was, and he's like, we don't really have a religion per se, we're just spiritual. And I didn't really understand that. I kind of thought it was a cop-out. But then I was invited to one of their gatherings. I guess as a gathering would be the word you'd use for it. And this wasn't like, the peace pipe or peyote or nothing like that. It was honest intellectual discussion about faith and about the spirit world, about the spirits. And one of the older men asked me, he said, do I have a soul? And I said, yes. He said, do you think I have a soul? And I was like, yes. And he asked if I thought they were separate souls. And I said, well, of course. And he said, why do you think that? It kind of got me to thinking. So, well, why do I think that? The Bible never said that every single person has their very own soul. He asked me, wouldn't it make sense in order to know the Creator and to be like the Creator that you would have to live every life that's ever been lived before you could ascend? And that hit home. That hit hard because, obviously time and space are, God is beyond time and space. So, does that mean reincarnation? And that way, my next life, I might end up being a starving kid in Africa? Or my next life, I might end up being a Viking in the 900s, 9th century? I don't know. Man, those are details I'm not going to really obsess over, but I think the thing is to remember, though, from that is that maybe I should treat that soul like it is my soul. Like we all share a soul. Maybe it is all one soul, and it's just looking at the world through all of our eyes simultaneously, so that it can experience all the pain, all the joy, all the laughter, all the sadness, all the successes, all the failures. Those are just things that, I don't know. Those are trivial details, though. The details that I think people get caught up on, these details, like you have to live like this, or you have to live like that, or you're going to burn in hell forever. I just don't buy that. I just don't buy that an all-knowing God and an all-loving God would create you with your own unique soul, full well knowing there is nothing you can do to redeem it before you ever set foot on this earth. As a species, as humans, we tend to, we really do tend to want to know the details, and then honestly, we have a tendency, if we don't know, we just kind of make stuff up. We can clearly see that happening a lot right now. But there's something magical about knowing the big thing. Right? I know the big thing. The big thing is there's a God. And not knowing all the details. There's something magical about that. I think it allows me to look at the world with a little bit more wonder subscribe. I hope you like the video. I hope you share the video. Leave a comment. Talk to me. I really want to double down on this channel and get some dialogue going, with you guys. I want to learn more about you guys. And I want you guys to ask about me. I'm an open book, I'll tell you. God's already seen everything I've done. I don't have anything else to hide. And as they like to say in court, I believe the statute of limitations has expired on anything that I may have done to get myself in trouble. So, yeah, ask me anything. Guys, thank you very much for watching the video. For those of you that stuck around until the end, I really, really appreciate it. Please let me know what you think, and I will try to do these twice a week at least, just depending on my schedule. But I know this week I've got a pretty open week, so I might be able to do another one tomorrow. I love you guys. Stay blessed.